So completely redesigning the inbox experience from the ground up has allowed us to unlock a lot of potential, modernize the app, and sets the stage for us to add a lot of new functionality. Some we're going to talk about here today, and some will come in the future. And before we get into things, I do want to acknowledge just how hard change can be. I know many of you have been using Help Scout for a long time. I myself have been using the app for more than 10 years. And I was one of the more vocal folks internally about the changes and how hard it felt for me to update myself to the different way of working. So, that uncomfortable feeling you may have trying to navigate this change yourself, I have been there and I have felt that too. But if we dive right into a conversation here, you'll notice the new look and feel. Although some things will still feel really familiar to you, such as seeing the main conversation actions up here at the top of any email. And we reduced the width of the conversation thread and introduced higher contrast colors to improve readability and increase accessibility. And in each conversation, you'll see emails from your customers, any replies that may have been sent, and internal notes, all in chronological order. And I know for a lot of people, myself included on this one, this is one of the bigger changes in this new inbox experience. And there were a lot of reasons behind the conversation order change, and that wasn't something that we took on lightly, but it really came down to two reasons. First off, we found that almost every support, chat, email, and social product on the market uses this newest at the bottom order, including apps like Gmail. And since Help Scout is more than email now, we were able to make everything uniform between social, chat, email, and phone conversations. The idea being that we have one interface to do all of those jobs, which function in the exact same way regardless of conversation type. And I know flipping the order is really tough. Like I said, I deeply struggled with it as well. We're working on making this pain a little less acute. We also have found that the new order represents a little more scrolling than before, mostly due to the capped line lengths rather than the order itself. And this scrolling is something that we've begun focusing on more aggressively and are currently building out some sizable improvements to the editor to make that scroll fatigue feel less uncomfortable. So when you open an email in your inbox, you'll be taken right to the most recent thread within it to bring your focus to the message you need to reply to. And the reply button is right there for you as well, so you can start your reply without having to scroll back up unless you need to do so. And other updates within the new experience here include things like additional details such as assignments, workflows run, and tags added that can now be displayed or hidden. And so to do so, we'll click on this More Options menu here. And then you can see we have the option here to show details. So when I click on that, you'll see those extra details are there. So again, things like conversations, or should I say status changes there on conversations, who things might have been assigned to, workflows run, things like that. And if I don't want to see that, I can either go back to my More Actions option and hide them, or you'll notice to the right there that indicates a little keyboard shortcut that you can use. So I can also use the semicolon key to turn those off if I don't want to see them. You can also scroll the right-hand sidebar separately from the actual conversation list, whereas in the previous mailbox experience, everything scrolled together. And with this, you can view the last conversation or note in the thread while simultaneously searching things like customer properties, previous conversations, or any data from your connected integrations. And this will save you time from having to scroll back and forth, perhaps multiple times, to view the sidebar information that you need. And here you'll see that the reply and note options have been moved underneath the last reply from the customer to where you need them the most. And my teammate Disha mentioned one thing she loves about the new inbox experience is something very simple. You can now see who the conversation is assigned to without having to make any additional clicks. So if I go into an assigned email here, We'll open that up. And like I mentioned, you'll see that assignment right there at the top. So no more extra clicking to see who that might be. If you land on a conversation, you'll be able to see that right there from the start. And not only is there a new inbox experience at Help Scout, but there's also a new reply editor as well. Some of you may have been using this in the previous version of the mailbox, but we know that a lot of folks had not discovered that quite yet. And in the new editor, you can type the / key to pull up the shortcut menu where you can add many different things to your email replies. And I know you may miss the toolbar at the top of the editor that was used to add things to your replies. And this took an adjustment period for me as well and was one of the harder changes to make. And while I have been working at Help Scout for more than 5 years, I have been a user of the app for 10. And in those 10 years comes a lot of muscle memory when replying to emails. Type a little bit, move your hand to the mouse to insert a docs link, come back to the keyboard to finish. But after a little bit of time, I found myself working faster within the new editor experience just by hitting the / key either while typing or before I type to get the menu to come up. So when I need to insert something, my hands stay on the keyboard to hit the / key instead of coming off to go to my mouse to make a selection in the toolbar. And when you open up the menu with the / key, you see here you can add attachments, emojis, even add our images to, and even add different text formatting there if that's something that you need. And of course, you can add docs links and saved replies from the shortcut menu as well. And about that emoji support, my teammate Melanie has always been a big user of them in her replies. And she shared with me how much she loves being able to get right to them by entering a colon in the keyboard and then typing the emoji name, much like you would do in things like Slack or Dropbox Paper, if you're familiar with those. And I also had multiple teammates tell me that one of their favorite new things is being able to highlight text and using Command V to paste a link right in. So I'm going to hop over. I just need to grab a quick URL. I'm going to grab one from our doc site here. And I'm just going to also add a saved reply in so we can just get some text in. And you'll see all I need to do is highlight that text and a quick Command V and paste that link right in there. And the editor also includes support for Markdown if that's something that you'd like to work with. So for example, if I wanted to start a bulleted list, I can just hit the dash key and then the space bar, and you can see it recognizes that I'm using Markdown and I want to make a list. So I can just do that. And again, all by typing and not having to go to any toolbars, use the mouse, things like that. And if you need a little more room to work here, you can also expand the email reply window to give you a lot more space to compose that reply if you'd like. We clear this back out here. You may also notice here, if you haven't been using the new editor yet, that you can now add saved replies and docs links right from the editor itself. And so this will save you an extra keystroke or two. Instead of having to open the overall menu, you can get a head start with what you need. And if you have not been using the new editor yet, there is an AI tool available within it that we call Assist. So I've got this little saved reply here so I can have some text in the editor. And when we highlight text, much like when we're adding a link, you'll see this first little option here, that sparkle icon for what we call AI Assist. And with AI Assist, you can do things like fix your spelling and grammar, make it longer, shorter, friendlier, more professional, or you can even translate it to about, I think we're up to about 30 different languages now, if that's something that you like to do. So Assist gives you a quick and easy way to enhance your email replies on demand, so you can make needed adjustments with just a few clicks. Okay, let me clear this out so we can get back to an empty editor here. So we can talk about another AI feature we have, which is what we call AI drafts. And you can access this in the new inbox experience. This is all kind of a part of that. And With one click of a button, you can use AI to generate a draft reply to the question that you need to answer. And drafts will use all of your previous email replies and articles from your knowledge base as data sources to create a reply. And this is our demo account, so I don't have enough data within it to use drafts, but I do have an example here that I can share with you. So we'll just let this kind of cycle through again. So when you first pull the editor up and you decide you want to use AI drafts, all you need to do is click the button there. It'll think for a second, and then it will start to sort of generate this draft in real time. And you can watch that go along there. And then you'll have two options. You can either improve it, like that prompt you see at the bottom, or if you like it and you're satisfied, you can click that insert button, and then that email draft is just ready to send out. And Drafts is an add-on for all Help Scout plans and starts at $50 per month for 100 drafts generated. And much like saved replies can help you save time in your day, we hope Drafts can do the same and help your entire team provide consistent support to your customers. If you'd like to give them a try, you can get a free trial of Drafts, and the first 100 drafts you use in your account are on us. All right, and we have two brand new tools that were just introduced with the new inbox experience. And there are some that folks have been requesting for quite a while, and we call them Snooze and Send Later. And with Snooze, this allows you to continue making progress in your inbox while removing the clutter from your immediate view so your team can be focused on the right conversations at the right time. So think of it like using a pending status on a conversation, but one step further. And this can be great for situations where you're waiting on updates from other teammates about an issue, or if you just need to come back to an email at another time. Send Later works particularly well when you have a situation where you may want to write responses outside of your business hours and have them sent during your regular hours to maintain communication expectations with customers. Or the inverse, where you write responses during your workday and schedule them to send later depending on your recipient's time zone. And when you set a reply to send later, you'll have the option to set the time frame on it, and then we'll automatically move to a new folder labeled later. And once the time you have set on it is up, the email reply will automatically be sent out. And I myself do some account management here at Help Scout, and I use the send later functionality when I'm replying to emails at the end of my day, but want the customer to receive them at the start of theirs so I can get them that answer that they need when it is most likely top of mind for them. And when you're composing your email reply, you will notice that Send Later option is there next to the Send button. And you can choose what date and time you would like the email to send. And for both Snooze and Send Later, you'll want to make sure that your time zone is set properly. And you can check that by going up to your profile photo on the top right-hand corner of your Help Scout account, going down to your profile, and there you'll see your time zone. So I live in Central Time, so that's what that's set to. And anything that I do regarding Snooze and Send Later is connected to that specific time zone. Another new option in the inbox is for what we call views. And previously, you needed to create a workflow to filter conversations within your inbox. But this new option allows you to build a quick filter to see specific conversations. For example, I spend a lot of time working with pre-trial and trial customers, so I've built a view that filters incoming emails down to just those specific conversations that have those tags. And currently, you can create a view to include things like specific channels, tags, the conversation status, customer's email address, who that conversation is assigned to, the subject line of the email, the date that that was first sent, how long the customer has been waiting to receive a reply from you. Or you can use custom fields, which are on our Plus and Pro plans, or you can even use a customer property there as well if you're utilizing that feature. And more functionality is to come here. In fact, customer properties was just released in the last 24 hours. So we're continuing to add things on and hope that this will make filtering your inbox just a little bit easier for you. And then the last functionality we have here within the new inbox is somewhat hidden, but it's a super powerful feature when you unlock it. We call it the command palette and hope it helps you work just a little bit faster. And the command palette was actually born out of our whole company's support sessions, where one of our engineers saw an opportunity to speed things up a bit more and decided to create something to help. So you can press Command K or Control K if you're a Windows user to pull up the command palette when you're either in an individual email conversation or in the main inbox view. And you can use the arrow keys on your keyboard to navigate through the list or start typing the name of the action that you're looking for. And these options will be different depending on where you are using it. As you can see, there's just a few options here when I'm in the main inbox, but if I go into a specific conversation, you can see I have a lot more options here. And you can see the keyboard shortcuts here within the command palette as well. So you can use them to navigate throughout a conversation without having to take your hands off the keyboard. And one little fun thing about the command palette here, just a little bit of fun. I know that, when you're working in your inbox all day long, sometimes it can be a little bit much and you just need a little bit of joy. So that's just something, just a tiny little bit of fun for you that you can bring into your day. So again, when you're in the command palette, you can just type in confetti and then that will go off for you there. So that is a look at the new inbox experience and all of the newly added features it unlocks. And we know that change is really hard. And in full disclosure, it took me a long time to switch over and start using the new inbox. But like I mentioned earlier, I have been using Help Scout for 10 years, and that initial change just felt too hard for me, and my muscle memory when answering emails was so strong. But as I started to use it and break down those habits a bit, I felt all of the new features come together for me. I got into my previous rhythm of answering emails that felt lost to me when I first switched over. And I no longer do things like move my hand to the mouse when I need to insert something into an email reply. My muscle memory has changed to hit the slash key instead. And we completely understand that the initial change might be really hard for you as well, but hope that the newly added features that it unlocks and the things that we can build for you from here will help ease that transition.